Everyone, it is. Call the meeting to order. Please rise. Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, good evening. Good evening. All right, we do have a public hearing for the purpose of receiving comments to a request for a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale of alcoholic liquor within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Johnson County Fair at the Johnson County Fairground. So do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion McNair, second Baldwin.
Nope.
Ween.
Ween.
I'm sorry. Mark.
It was another
Second
Mark.
It was a
We
mark.
open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? The public hearing is now open. If you'd like to speak on this. See no one coming forward. I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion McNair, second Johnson. We close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Public hearing is closed. Now I'll move to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to make comments about city matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. If you wish to come forward, please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. There's a time clock on your left. Please state your name and address for the record. That being said, come forward. Podium is now open.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Ashley Montgomery, and I reside at 1027 East Cottage Creek Circle. I spoke before the council for the very first time last year regarding solicitors, and I truly appreciate the action that was taken. I'm happy to say I haven't been bothered by a solicitor since. But tonight, I'm here to talk about a different topic. I'm here to talk about the F word, fireworks. For some people, that word brings excitement, celebration, and family traditions. For my family, it now brings dread, disruption, sleepless nights, and most recently, a broken wrist. At the risk of being called unpatriotic, labeled a Karen, or being told if you don't like it, just move, I'm here because I want to show my daughters that when something matters, we have the opportunity and the responsibility to use our voices in a respectful and constructive way. I'm also here because I want my family's experience and the experience of so many others to be heard. I want to say this clearly. I'm not here because I don't want people to celebrate Independence Day without fireworks. In fact, a few years ago, we considered opening a fireworks stand here in Gardner. But with that being said, we all know our city currently allows for a 3-day window around the 4th of July for legally shooting off fireworks. But in reality, many residents know the noise often begins before those dates and continues after that. This year, on July 1st, before fireworks were legally permitted, my 2 daughters were riding their bikes on our sidewalk in front of our home when a nearby neighbor unexpectedly set off a large firework of some sort with a powerful explosive report. The blast was so sudden and loud that my husband and I ran outside to find our 7-year-old crying and our 13-year-old startled so badly that she fell off her bike and broke her wrist. One person's decision to celebrate early came at a cost to our family, physically, emotionally, and financially. Like many families, we've tried to prepare for the 4th of July. We buy medication for our dog, we use the noise-canceling headphones, and we turn our sound machines up as loud as they go. But there's only so much you can do when fireworks are unpredictable or when people ignore the legal dates and times. We appreciate Gardner PD putting out the memos to respect your neighbors, but can we be honest? That doesn't happen. While the cutoff time is supposed to be 11 p.m., the large percussion fireworks were still rattling our house until at least 11:30 p.m. every night. With so many lacking consideration, I feel it's the council's time to step in once again to revisit what celebrating the 4th of July looks like here in Gardner. I'm under the impression that council will not completely prohibit fireworks in Gardner due to the tax earnings that the fireworks sales brings to the city, so I want to encourage the council to please consider a couple of options. My first and my strongest suggestion is to please consider prohibiting the loudest consumer fireworks. That includes the aerial shell devices like artillery shells, mortars, and ground salutes. I'm not talking about sparklers, fountains, or the small fireworks that many families can enjoy together on their driveways. I'm talking about the explosive fireworks that shake windows, rattle homes, and cause one to startle, perhaps resulting in injury. I cannot remember from previous years when these loud explosive fireworks routinely set off multiple car alarms throughout my neighborhood, as we just experienced this 4th of July. While fireworks have been part of Gardner's 4th of July for years now, these larger explosive fireworks have become increasingly disruptive. The joyful celebration of the 4th of July has shifted from celebrating to enduring repeated house rattling explosions affecting many. Gardner already provides a wonderful community fireworks display where families can experience the sights and the sounds of the holiday together. And because we already have that opportunity, I don't believe residents need to recreate the same level of explosive noise in every neighborhood across our city. Reducing or eliminating only the loudest consumer fireworks strikes a reasonable balance, in my opinion. Families could still celebrate Independence Day with many other legal fireworks while significantly reducing the disruption, fear, and potential for injury these high-impact explosives create. My second suggestion would be to limit the fireworks to July 4th only. Most people can tolerate one evening of celebration, but after 3 or 4 nights of explosions, children who can't sleep, terrified pets that refuse to go outside, I feel like it truly becomes much harder to justify. 2 things can be true. We can preserve the tradition of celebrating the 4th of July while also reducing the disruption caused by fireworks. Those goals don't have to be in conflict or compete. Celebration and consideration for our neighbors can and should coexist. There's so much more to say. I don't have time to share the rest of my feelings. So I'm going to humbly ask you this. How do you decide whose concerns carry the most weight? I think I know the answer, but I truly hope there's room for discussion and perhaps some change. Thanks for your time, for listening, and for once again considering the concerns that I brought to you tonight. Thank you.
Jennifer Smith, 648 South Oak Street. Ashley, thank you. I feel that if something ever happens to me, I now have someone to carry the torch for advocating for those that have sensory issues about fireworks. First of all, thank you again to Mark, not Mark Baldwin, but Mark Ween, our fireworks committee, Mayor Todd, Dave Dravetta, Chief, and the police department, thanks, Zach, and Danica. Danica worked very hard with our fireworks committee, and I honestly feel that we keep making some good grounds on getting the information out there. We do have more signs out this year, and as you can see in my little baggie that I always pick up my trash, I only have 3 items. But still, 3 items could kill my ducks, and I do have a homestead permit that could kill my ducks. This is, I think, what Ashley was talking about. This was in my driveway Thursday morning. So this was shot off on Wednesday. This is illegal. We know this is illegal. I don't know who did it, but it was in my driveway. One of my neighbors did it. Also Wednesday night, thank you to the police and the fire and our Gardner Utilities Department. Even though someone says that it wasn't firework related, Wednesday night was not a night to shoot off fireworks, and fireworks were being shot off. Of course, we all know that it was extremely windy. The 3 days ahead of that, a firework went off. I happened to be outside. A firework went off down the electrical line. All of a sudden, the power line shook, the poles shook, and we all lost power. I don't know if anybody, it's such a coincidence. Someone said that the tree limb just fell. No, it was definitely firework related because it was a huge firework that went off and a tree limb just happened to fall. So, yeah. But I think this year was a better year with people obeying. I did drive around. I know that was one of the biggest things that Chief Kelly talked about was the trash. In the areas that I drove around, people did a better job cleaning up within 24 hours after the fireworks. So just once again, I do want to reiterate, you all represent all of Gardner, all of Gardner. And we do have to look at those with the PTSD, the sensory issues, and then now we're literally getting children hurt from these fireworks. So once again, I just want everybody to think about the future of Gardner and all these fireworks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Any other comment? All right, move to consent agenda. Is there an item council would like to remove? Do I hear a motion to approve consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Johnson. We approve consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, consent agenda passes. No planning and zoning consent, no committee recommendations, no old business. We'll go to new business. Item number 1, consider adopting a resolution regarding the governing body's intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate. Mr. Wolf.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. On June 15th, 2026, the City Council provided direction to staff to prepare a resolution expressing the city's intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate of 16.933 mils and to propose a mill levy of 17.814 mils, which is the same as the current mill levy. The resolution sets a public hearing regarding the governing body's intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate for September 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m. to be held here at City Hall, and directs the city clerk to provide a copy of the resolution to Johnson County Clerk as notice of the city's proposed intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate. The staff's recommendation that you adopt the proposed resolution.
Thank you, Matt. Is there any public comment on this item? Question, and just to clarify, if we vote, I mean, we can still do
Yes.
whatever amount we want. We can, up or down or whatever, but at this point, we're just clarifying that we could potentially exceed.
It can go down from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions, council?
You said that the staff's recommendation was that we don't propose?
No, that you adopt the proposed.
Oh, adopt.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was like, I thought that sounded odd.
Matt, did you say it's going, the levy's going down or up?
It's staying the same as the prior year, or the current year.
So we're at 17.814?
814, yes.
And the new rate is at 16.993?
That would, if we're doing the revenue neutral rate, it would be the 16.933. But what what's being suggested here on the resolution is that we're staying at the flat mill rate.
Okay, and how much revenue does that represent, please?
Let's see, that would be,
I mean, it's
Not
about
quite
a
full
mil,
yeah, it's about a mill, and I think that's around,
300 to 400 grand.
yeah.
360,000, give or take.
It's probably a little less than that. It's a little less than a mil.
Yeah.
What's our total budget for 2027 increase from 2026?
Can we bring up my presentation from last meeting? So here's the general fund budget. First, the revised budget, if you remember, was going up about 946,000 compared to the original 2026 budget, mostly one-time items. The 2027 budget is about a $385,000 increase over 2026.
We have this, is this chart been provided to us?
It was at the last council meeting.
I mean, have we got a copy?
No.
We can send it to you.
You said last week, or last time, if I'm remembering correctly, that the mill had been set and then there had been like a 0.3 mill decrease because of how just things worked out with Johnson County.
Yes,
So this proposed mill is equal to what the mill ended up being, or what the original mill
Correct.
was? What it ended up being after the
What it is,
0.3?
yes.
Perfect, thank you.
and how that happens is you set, kind of a budget in September, but then the final valuations come in November, and there were some pending tax appeals on some very large properties. So basically, since they hadn't actually been finalized yet, the city, or the county had to include those valuations, which then kind of artificially dropped our mill levy.
Which could happen again this year.
Right, there's always the possibility,
What-
but we can't count on
What
it.
was the bond and interest fund budget for this year?
If you permit me to, I can pull up my laptop on the side.
Okay, thank you.
Always doing
If
that.
you submit these questions in advance, we can have it ready so we don't have to do that type of stuff.
Any other questions while we're waiting?
I'll just say that what I wrote down a little over a year ago was 18.172. So that was the number that was in my head and it's good to know that we actually, when everything settled out, we were at this 17.814.
And this isn't us agreeing to 17,814, just setting a public hearing so our community knows we don't intend to go over 17.814.
Well, just so that you're not going R&R.
Right.
So, I guess I'm a little confused here. We're actually spending more, but we're saying we're not. How much more are we actually gonna be spending this year from all sources?
I think the general fund, he just showed you.
Yeah,
was
he's
385.
22.169.
Right,
So 300 or something, I think it said.
385.
Total?
That's the general fund, yes. Matt, if you can't find it, we can just send it out.
I'm having a hard time getting to the actual computer. Typically, how this process usually works is once we get direction from for the mill levy for the public hearing, we basically take that as direction as all the items we've shown you on the budget so far. You don't have any immediate objection to them. We build a budget draft, and we upload that budget draft so people can go through line item by line item and all the different funds. And so they can have all the information weeks before the public hearing. And that's what we'll be working on after this council meeting.
Steve, are you saying you want to go through stuff tonight, or do you want to?
No, what I'm saying is it would be very helpful to have these numbers to us in advance.
Okay.
If you make that request, we'll have them available for everybody.
I think I would like to see that, yes, please.
I just want everybody to understand, I mean, you could actually come back when you adopt the budget and stick with R&R.
Right.
But if you don't take this step tonight, you cannot.
Right,
You're handcuffing yourself.
yes.
Sure, we understand.
So tonight's just more like, we're still looking. We could come back to it at a lower rate, but
Well, I
could
guess the
go up to the-
concern I had was, the way it was worded was that we've asked for this. And I staff has suggested this, more as a suggestion that we've asked for a specific mill levy.
Just that we asked that we're good with exceeding R&R. We haven't said where we're exceeding it, just that we're going to. And that's because everybody knows R&R is a pipe dream.
Well, I guess one of the things that, just we'll have this discussion now, one of the issues that is heating up very quickly in statewide races this year, in 2026, is the issue of property tax in general. There are several candidates at various levels campaigning on abolishing property tax. And one of the things I would like for us to think about as a governing body is, should that happen, where are we going to be going to get sources of revenue that we need to fund our city? And, you know, and be mindful that those changes could actually happen. And we need to be planning and anticipating now for that to maybe take place, because I can guarantee you, across the state, statewide, the most likely voters are going to say, heck yeah, I want no property tax. And the other thing I noticed is I was just going through some people I know on property tax records. The increases this year in appreciation rates went from minus 0.6% to 22% increase on a property by property basis. So not everybody is being hit equally. And, you know, we're getting to the point to where we're spending an insane amount of money. And I think we need to start looking at, and Jim, I'm going to ask also that this year, that maybe we, in addition to the budget numbers that we get normally, that we have available to us the actual line items and make those totals up.
You'll get the line item that's put out every year. And it'll be available, what,
So we
3 weeks?
so let
It's
me
usually
make-
3 weeks before the public hearing.
Let me make sure I understand what you're telling me, Jim, just so I understand. I'm kind of old and kind of dumb. As I've looked at this, and I've got a copy of the 2026 as implemented in my briefcase, as I look at that budget, the line items as you referred to are, it starts from a grand total, and then it starts getting broke down to subtotals, and then subtotals on the subtotals, subtotals on those subtotals, and subtotals all the way down to the bottom. And in essence, guys, what we're really saying here is, here's this chunk of money. Go spend it how you want. And I don't know if that's really what we want to do. I'd like to see the detail behind those last bottom line
That's
numbers.
not what that means. And you get you may get office supplies, but you don't get paper clips and reams of paper.
I don't think we even see, okay, all I'm looking to find out is if we wanted to reduce by a certain amount, I just wanted to see the line items that could be deferred or maybe not needed.
And you'll see those.
Yeah, we'll put out the line item budget that we do every year.
Okay, thank you.
But for tonight's sake, again, I think we're mainly concerned with moving this process forward and just saying that we have intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and then we can come back to that and decide when and where we want to, how much we want to address on that. So tonight, we're just giving them permission to continue to move forward with direction that we're not going to be lowering, or we don't intend to.
I just want to understand, when we do get to that point, Todd, that we understand very clearly just exactly what we're spending money on and what we're not, and that we are watching the purse.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Councilmember McNear.
Yes, sir.
I understand where you're coming from. And the presentations up to this point were designed basically to talk about basically the huge cost drivers or variances between prior years. That's what the last couple of presentations focused on, things like new positions, new equipment, the things that are really driving the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the biggest ones of those are the capital projects, which we've covered at multiple meetings.
Mm-hmm.
going forward from here, we're just kind of setting the maximum the property tax can be. You guys have all the way through the public hearing to adjust it as you want. And as we go through that and we have direction, we can start building out that line item detail into a public document that everybody can see weeks in advance of the public hearing.
I have, by and large, I have absolutely no concerns about capital projects and even the increase in prices in those, because over time, those have been committed to over a number of years. And as they are designated projects, inflation has taken its toll on those projects as well. So I understand that. I'm just wanting to make sure that there's, if we need to look at things, that we have the information, if we need to make specific cuts or things, you know, like, I think a couple things you mentioned before, you know, specific items. I just want to make sure that we are not taking the public trust and dollars, their money that they are hard earned, without regard for the care of their pocketbook. That's all.
And I think we all feel that way. I mean, I think that we all share that sentiment, absolutely. So,
Okay, thank you. I've said everything I need to say.
thank you. Is there any other discussion on it at this point? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Ween. We adopt Resolution 2195, a resolution of the City of Gardner, Kansas regarding the governing body's intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate.
Councilmember Ween.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton.
Yes.
Resolution 2195 passes. Thank you, Matt. Then we'll move to new business item number 2. Consider a request for a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale of alcoholic liquor within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Johnson County Fair at the Johnson County Fairground.
Good evening. This is a request for just a waiver of the distance. Johnson County Fair has several events this year which they plan to serve alcohol at. So the Abdallah Shriners and the Fair Association have already obtained their temporary permits from the Kansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Division. This request is just simply for the waiver of the distance since they're within 200 feet of a school, church, or library.
Council, do you have any questions on this? They've done this multiple years. I
Just
believe.
making
Yeah,
sure that the PD doesn't have any concerns.
Any other question? No? Take a vote.
So moved.
Motion Deaton,
Second.
second Johnson. We approved a request for a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale of alcoholic liquor within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Johnson County Fair to be held July 24th through August 1st, 2026 at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, 136 East Washington Street. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? New business number 2 passes. All right, that wraps up meeting there. So we'll move to council updates. Start with Captain over there.
Just an update on a few things. As far as fireworks calls go, we were down 12 calls in the same time period as last year. Most of our calls for service were shooting fireworks after the 2300, the 11 o'clock hour on the 4th. And then the other majority was outside of the legal dates, so before the 2nd and after the 4th. Update on our ponds and mosquitoes. All of our ponds are in compliance as far as being treated. We had to abate one, which got done last week. So that's taken care of, and we're still putting a large focus out on 199th Street to address the truck issues.
Great, good to hear. Thank you. City Clerk, Renee?
I have nothing further.
Matt, Finance?
Nothing further.
Amy?
Nothing tonight.
City Attorney?
Nothing from me.
Mr. Hunter?
No, sir.
Oh. Jason, anything at all?
Real quick, excuse me, I just wanted to thank all the department heads and their staff who had a hand in Independence Day Festival. My staff especially. It was a long day, put it together. All the acts went off, fireworks went off. So I just appreciate everybody's help. It's not a Parks and Rec event. PD had a lot of people out there at intersections, crowd control. I know we borrowed from other agencies as well. So Really good crowd, everything considered. So thanks to everybody for their help.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Dave?
Nothing for me tonight.
Kellen, Public Works? Nope. City Administrator?
I just want to recognize Jason and his crew for the festival. The weather's always a wild card, and we were going back and forth throughout the day whether to cancel or not, and ultimately made the right decision, so thank you.
Very good, very good. All right, Councilman McNair?
I just want to say thanks to the entire community for what I saw as a general respect of neighbors and the time limits for fireworks Saturday night. I was at a couple of different neighborhood celebrations. The ones I was at secured at about 10:50. They swept up, they cleaned up, made sure things were respectful. So I think the vast majority of our citizens comply and voluntarily and willfully do so. So I'm sorry to hear that some of the people, some of your neighbors don't respect their neighbors as much as they could and should. That's a terrible shame. But I think that by and large, and I sat out in my garage Saturday night after we got home, and I didn't hear anything in our neighborhood after about 11:10. So I was very pleased with the way our community responded. Thanks to the police department. And Jason, your crew did an outstanding job Saturday night. I've had many compliments. So just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciated all the efforts, and that's all I had.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Ween?
I guess I'll thank those who spoke. I know that, as Jennifer knows, we've tried to work hard over the last 2 years to do some and make some changes. I think obviously there's still some folks out there who are faced with the reality that they're just not going to follow the rules, and we have an issue with enforcement, and we always will. I think we can look at making any changes to the ordinance and limiting. I think there's already a little bit of a limit in there. I mean, it can't set off like half a stick of dynamite or something like that. But there's nothing about height or anything like that from what I remember. We definitely, with Danika's help, and some of, I don't know if it was Jason or you or Kellen, your crew's putting out signs for where it's prohibited. And then the dates, we're trying to inform everybody. Reached out to a lot of the HOAs that I could reach out to. Got some feedback, so hopefully we'll see that increase time over time and hopefully get the message out that it's the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th, and those dates only. I know, Jennifer, you'll be quick to tell us if anybody was disrespectful of that part of the ordinance and trying to indicate that it was something more than the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th, maybe out on Facebook. Also, I know we tried to put the prohibited signs out there, worked with the schools to make sure that they were out there in the areas that we didn't want them. I did go past Gorney/Winwood Park, and that it was, it's not funny, but seeing the fireworks right next to the sign that said that were prohibited right in front of the camera that we have sitting out there is interesting. So I don't know what we can do to help maybe we need to get the message out earlier. Maybe we need to skywriters, bigger signs, flashing neon. There'll be more that we can probably do, and we'll talk with Matt. It's the nice thing is we do have funding associated with, and we can look and see, and we're happy to have you part of the FORCE team, our fireworks ordinance review board. So we'll get out there and see what else we can do before next year.
Councilman, are we going to do a wrap-up meeting maybe?
Absolutely.
I think that might be a good idea. Just
Yeah,
kind of
we
go
can do
through
that.
some of these while they're fresh in our head.
I'll put something on the calendar.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Councilmember Johnson?
I have some fireworks questions too. But thank you to Ashley and to Jennifer for speaking tonight, and to everybody for putting the signs out, because I did notice they were everywhere, and that was really nice to have it out there where nobody can say they didn't see it. I do have some questions, especially if we're going to look at possibly changing the ordinance. And if you don't know the answers tonight, that's fine. Just if staff can pull them together so that we have them. But I'm interested to know, I think you said there were 12 fewer calls this year. How many calls does that mean there were? I mean, does that mean that there was 2 calls and we had 14 last year? Or does that mean there were 150 calls and we had 162 last year? So, or 164, my math is not strong right now. So like how many calls that actually is. Also, what kind of, I know we have issues with enforcement. What do we do for enforcement? Is it citations? Is it just warnings? Is it even possible to enforce, or by the time you get there, the thing's already been set off and whoever set them off is gone? Because, you're not talking about necessarily something that the person's still standing there when there's firework went off way up in the sky. So it may be hard to, narrow in on where they are. So what does that look like? Did you have any particular issues with, like recurring issues with people or things that we should be aware of? Yeah. What's your take on that? Like I said, if you don't have answers for all that tonight, that's fine. Just at some point before we can figure out what we want to do with the ordinance, just more information would be great.
So we had 42 calls last year, only 30 calls this year.
Okay.
Enforcement, as you suggested, is very difficult on our end because the firework goes up and it goes away. We primarily focus on an initial warning, and then if we have a repeat issue, then we would resort to citations. There were no citations issued this year.
Okay.
We document all of our fireworks contacts beginning when fireworks sales start through the end of the weekend, so that way they have the addresses and the locations to see if it is a repeat issue. The 4th is probably the most difficult to enforce because we run with our numbers and fireworks everywhere. From leaving Celebration Park at about 11:30, driving back to the station, I addressed 3 fireworks complaints in that short time. So enforcement is difficult. We definitely do our best to try to do that. And we are seeing a decrease in numbers, which is good. And I feel like compliance is increasing. We just got to keep working on it.
I will say, a lot, and maybe it's not the right time to say, but, I was in Leawood, or Overland Park area, and it's illegal there. There was explosions everywhere, and someone was doing the huge ones, the really loud, booming ones that shake the house. And so, obviously it's probably easier if they get them here, they can do them here, but it does take place in communities where it is illegal as well. So sometimes it's hard to, even if they are not legal here, it's really hard to enforce that because people are just going to do what they want to do sometimes, unfortunately. But, questions?
That was all I have. Good for now. Thank you.
Council Vice President.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Jason, your team, PD. You guys did amazing, and really, I don't know of a department that's not affected by the Independence Day Festival. So thank you to all city staff that stepped in. I know when we were out there earlier in the day and it was a mad rush to get everything set up, I saw people from numerous departments out there. So it wasn't easy with the rain, making everything very difficult, but it was a wonderful show. Josh Ross did amazing. Our fireworks display was really long and very complimented. It was very good. So thank you guys for all of that. I also just want to say thank you to everybody that came out to Price Chopper to support Gardner Gold. It was rainy, and it was a real bummer for our fundraiser that day, but we received $799 in tips of just people walking out of Price Chopper to help support Gardner Gold, which was amazing. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more about Gardner Gold, this Friday at the pool at 2:30 is our annual duck race. Final numbers are still coming in, but we are over 5,000 ducks will be released into the lazy river for a race, and that's one of our fundraisers that we do with Gardner Gold. And so I encourage anybody that wants to learn about it or just watch 5,000 ducks go through our lazy river, come out to the Gardner Pool at 2:30 on Friday.
Awesome, thank you. That sounds fun. It is fun.
Yeah, you should come.
Council President?
I don't have anything to add. Is there a way to get the duck race recorded and we put it up on the website?
Sure.
That'd be cool, because then people that are at work could see it later, and maybe it'd increase, support for it in the future. So that's my only suggestion. Matt, can we get that presentation emailed to us, please? Okay, that's it.
And again, thank you to all departments that helped out, and particularly Jason, because I know that's kind of your thing, that's your baby. And I know it's a long week and especially a long day for you out there, but appreciate everything you do and everything, all the other departments, including IT, who also helped out and saved the day. So thank you. Appreciate it. That's all I have. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second McNair. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Adjourn.
Casey, what's that date again?
This Friday, the 10th, for the duck race, 2:30.